Hey everyone, it's Connor back from this old farm, and today we're here at the machine shed again, and we're with Marty. So, last week, stepped on the base of the farm jack here and it hit my arm. It didn't hurt that bad, but anyways, that's besides our point here. Holy smokes, he's leaking a bunch of fuel out. Not good. So last week, we'll get back on track here instead of getting sidetracked again. We talked about having the carburetor rebuilt. That was last Saturday, I think we made that video, and we hadn't had the carburetor back yet. Well, later that day, Kenny had it done and ready, so I went over and picked it up, and we got it put on here. I started it up and found we've got a new issue, and that new issue has to do with these. These are manifold gaskets. Now, some of you who are maybe more engine savvy, I guess we'll call it, will kind of know what that's hinting to here, and that is that we have an air leak, essentially. And by an air leak, I mean that it's pulling air into the engine after the carburetor level. So from that point up, it's pulling air somewhere. And I went through, and that gasket that's on, you know what, let's get closer to the tractor here. This gasket here that seals it to the manifold, the carburetor to the manifold, I made a new gasket. So let me explain a little bit more of the initial issue, because we've kind of sort of fixed it, but we've still got an issue. So basically what happened is I put the carburetor on, I went to start it up, and it was at probably about a medium idle. The throttle was set to idle. It was actually below the lowest notch, and it was at about a medium throttle, I would say, and it was continuously like stepping itself up higher and higher on its own. So I quick shut it down, called it quits at that, and kind of left it alone for a little while. Well, then I came back and decided I was going to make a new gasket for down here, because I talked to my tractor group, and they basically said, okay, you've got a governor issue, the butterfly's not connected right down in here from the governor tube to the butterfly, or you've got an air leak. They were leaning more towards the butterfly was not lined up, so I double checked that. I made sure that the butterfly was lined up. It was, and I knew it was, but I figured it doesn't hurt to double check it anyways. I pulled the cover on the governor here, the governor housing. I pulled that off. We thought maybe the spring was broken. It wasn't. So okay, it's now down to it's got to be pulling air somewhere. So I made a new gasket for this connection here, I guess we'll call it, and started it up again. And now this time it wasn't idling. It was still at that halfway throttle, but it wasn't stepping itself up. It was staying at that throttle where it was. So that was an improvement, of course. So we've still got an air leak somewhere. It's still sucking air so that it will not idle down. I did pull on, I'm sorry, YouTube still hasn't fixed their issue yet with me not being able to record on there. So I'm recording on my phone, and on the phone's video app, and I can't turn the camera around. So we're kind of showing you backwards here with the front-facing camera. But anyways, this screw right here is basically your idle adjustment. What that does is if you screw it in, it'll push the butterfly. I can pick myself back up. It'll push the butterfly up and basically essentially throttle up, like you're pulling your throttle back. If you unscrew it out, it brings the butterfly down, throttles it down. I pretty much I had the spring pretty much all the way backed off. It was probably getting pretty close to being able to, would have had the screw pulled out of the carburetor, and it did not change it anywhere. So that's where we got led to the fact that it's pulling air somewhere. So I went through, and I think it was that night I ordered this manifold gasket kit off of Amazon from Hamilton Bob's. I it was supposed to not show up until like next week sometime. The 12th through the 14th was the estimated time, and we got it on Wednesday, I think it was, or maybe Thursday. Obviously today's Saturday, so we got it like a week early, which is super cool and really nice. Really great service from Hamilton Pobs, so that was pretty cool. So we're gonna go today. Once I'm done making this video here for you guys, I'm going to go through and I'll have to pull off the hood, pull the muffler, all that. And then we're going to pull the manifold off that's behind here. And we'll put those new gaskets on, and hopefully that solves our issue. If it doesn't, we're looking at a manifold replacement, which really sucks and might leave Marty here down for the season. I don't know. I kind of don't really have the funds to, I mean, I do, but I'm trying to budget myself here. I'm trying to afford for a new pickup truck, or I shouldn't say a new pickup truck, but a new to me pickup truck, because I don't know how much longer the old Exploder is going to last. So, trying to save up for that, which means I've kind of put more into this thing than I've wanted to already with the carburetor rebuild. So, anyways, today we're going to go through and put on those gaskets. Hopefully that solves our issue. We do have one thing back here I thought I'd show you. We got a nice new tire on our, I shouldn't say nice new tire. We put a new tire over here, down here, on our hay rake. We were having, and I can actually, where did he disappear to? If we come over around here somewhere, there he is. The tire that was on it definitely shouldn't have been on it. I'll pick it up here. It's got a bunch of water because we rained all last week. But you can see here the tire's starting to separate at the seam, which isn't a super big issue, but you can see that it's very bald, and these tires have to be driving tires. They need to have traction in order to spin the rake, because the rake, I can come over, I've explained this before in, when I made a raking video with the bar rake, but this rake is ground driven, so right now we can spin the rake. It's totally free. And then if I come over here to the rake, there's this hub here, right here, and there's a lock on it right there that'll, if I engage that lock, it would lock up. I wouldn't be able to spin the bars by hand. So the tires drive the rake, and so having that bald tire on this side here wasn't helping anything, and it didn't help either that the other side had an issue with, there's a spring that holds this drive dog that when you turn that little lock, it locks that gear in, and then the spring basically allows it to, if you're backing up when you have the locks in, so that thing can ratchet back, but then it'll always come back up no matter what. So we got that, I had to put a spring in that. I did that the beginning of winter. And then we put that tire on there. Another thing I wanted to talk about was Mo here. Mo is doing fairly good. He's doing better now. He runs quite a bit better with the rebuilt carburetor, which is great. But he does have an issue still. I can't keep him to run smooth. And I'm not sure if it's timing or if it's just the fact that the plugs are dirty. The plugs could be dirty. I haven't pulled them out. I put them in last year. They were new last year. And now they are could be dirty again, because it does leak a little bit of oil into the cylinders, and so it could be that they are dirty. Also, we have this behind me. We have a Parts M. I went through and bought, I've talked about Cody, our group member on here, that I bought parts for Cushing, I believe it was. He had this Parts M, and I ended up just buying the whole thing from him. I've got a whole engine block and everything for it. So now, especially now that we have an M, and I can use parts for the M diesel here, and where is he back there? The Super M. We have some parts for those tractors, and a couple crossover to the H, but I think I might have already used them already. So we still do need some parts, though. We do need a swinging drawbar still for the M for Marty here. I was kind of hoping that Cody's was going to have it. That's sort of why I bought it, but his had the triangle plate like mine does. So we still have to source out a swinging drawbar for the M here, and we will have to rob a cast center back there, because I don't know if you'll be able to see, but that one back there is broken. Around the clamp, around the axle is broken, so we'll have to rob one off of the parts M over there and go with that. But anyways, that's kind of what's been happening out here at the farm. I haven't done a whole lot over the week because of work. I've been busy at work, so we've been which is good, making money to be able to help fix up Marty over there and for Mr. Explorer back there. So that's gonna be it for this one though, guys. That's what we're going on. I will make a video on Marty with the Sony camera and kind of get that out for you guys at some point. I do have one with the H that needs to get out that I've been talking about, and I didn't put that out this week because I wanted to make this farm update video about Marty over there. So anyways, thanks for watching. Have a good weekend, you guys, and we'll talk to you next time.